What's up, YouTube? So we are going to get into the beginning of the Set Life blog, and that's why the term, or this Set Life is what I'm going to call it. Right now I'm in my truck. I'm not at home to be with my motorcycle. A lot of my videos may be away from the motorcycle. Has nothing to do with the conversation we talk about, because I don't need the motorcycle to talk about motorcycles because I have one. So speaking of that, so how did I get into motorcycle riding? So I owned a security company, and one of the contracts I had was at a local skating rink. So at that local skating rink, on the weekends, you know, a bunch of teenagers and stuff like that, and estrogen and non-headed nonsense, you know, hard-headed nonsense stuff. So I had security officers there. A part of me doing that, I got interested back into skating. So I used to go to the skating rink when I wasn't working, and when they had adult-only skates, I would skate. And it was the wintertime, and I remember it was the wintertime because everybody who rode motorcycles skated during the wintertime when they could not be on their motorcycles. And so part of me meeting people, a lot of the people that the adults brought their kids there. So I knew them from their kids, and we have conversations. And then when the weather broke, you would see guys ride their motorcycles in the daytime to like a Sunday afternoon skate, where, you know, it was going to get cold at night, but it was still warm enough in the daytime on a Sunday to get a ride in, skate a little bit, and then leave before it got cold. So I started inquiring about it. I'm a guy. So I've always liked motorcycles. I've never been on a motorcycle at this point. I've never been on a four-wheeler, a dirt bike. I have no clue. Never driven a stick shift. This is before trucks, obviously. So I think motorcycles are cool. So, you know, these guys are riding up there, and I meet one guy who, his name is Primo. We named him Primo. That's his set name. And he had his bike one day. We talking about his bike, and he would ride his bike, and it started to bite me. The bug started to bite me. And this time I'm making money hand over fist. So to go and buy a motorcycle is nothing. So what I did was I tried to apply for financing. Nobody would give me financing. So I was like, you know, forget it. You know, I saved up money for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I went and bought my first motorcycle. The crazy thing is I didn't even have a motorcycle license. I had scheduled myself to take a class, and in Virginia, the DMV has a private company that they contract that you could take their class, and they can actually issue you a motorcycle license based on you taking that class. It's a safety course, and they go through the basics. They actually put you on a motorcycle. They put you on an obstacle course. And so they go over safety in the classroom. They go over safety safety on the road, maneuvering, all types of stuff. It was a really, really great class. They taught me everything I need to know to get started. So, and also a part of that class, to this day, I still get discounts on my insurance for taking a motorcycle safety course. Instead of just having a motorcycle, getting into DMV, passing the DMV test, showing that I have the skills. But because I took that class, it's saying that I have some safety training as well. So the insurance companies give you a discount, and it's usually substantial. The class is like $160, $175. But I can tell you, I guarantee you, I probably save about and I have all these years saved about $10 a month off my insurance. So it's paid for itself umpteen times. So I took that, I bought the bike, and during the process of me doing all of this, the guy Primo leads me to a guy named Superman who also rides. And so we all become cool. And through them, I meet a guy named BDK. And through BDK, I meet a guy named Bones. So these are the 5 guys I'm really cool with that I know that ride motorcycles. So fast forward, like I said, I go buy the motorcycle. I can't even ride it. So I can't even test ride it because I don't know how to ride the motorcycle. And it's pitch black dark. So the guy Superman, he's with us. He's with me when I buy the bike. He test rides it. He said, I think it's good. It is a Yamaha R1, which is a Yamaha Racing 1000. I'm a big boy. I look like a clown in the middle of the Barnum and Bailey circus on this bike. I did not care. It was my first bike. I loved it. It was my baby. So he trailered the bike for me. I took it back to, I couldn't even get it in my apartment, and I didn't have a way to cover it or anything. So I actually had the bike sitting in the lobby of my office, my security office. for a while before I made other accommodations for the bike, before I got a cover and all that kind of stuff. So I bought this bike and I learned how to ride. And a part of me getting this bike, I joined the motorcycle club. So I want to say I had the bike 30 or 45 days before I realized, yeah, this is not going to work. I need a bigger bike. I'm on the bike, I'm cramping on it, which means two things. One, is too small, and two, I'm dehydrated. Both things equal for a horrible ride. So I was not able to enjoy my motorcycle life because I didn't have a motorcycle that fit me. So I made my mind up I was going to upgrade. I put my bike on Craigslist to sell it. And we all used to meet up. The meetup spot in the set where I live at was at an Exxon gas station, right in the heart of downtown, right by VCU, which is Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond. And I put my bike on Craigslist, and it's like, I want to say 2 days maybe after I posted, a guy called me, hey man, can we meet up? Can I see the bike? I want to look at it. So I'm like, cool. I don't trust the dude. So I got my buddy, I think I got somebody with me. I can't remember who it was. You know what? Oh yeah, I had another guy riding a motorcycle with me who was with me. And I don't even think he came there with me. I think he was already there. And I was like, listen, man, I'm meeting this cat. Look out for me. Like, all right, got you. So the guy, we meet at the gas station. I don't feel comfortable taking him to my house. I don't know the dude. Plus, I'm parking the bike outside. So I'm like, if he tries to come and steal it after I show it to him, how am I going to stop him? I work all night doing security. I'm in my office all day doing paperwork. The bike is sitting all day long. So somebody could have easily came and swiped it, and I wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. So I met the guy up at the Exxon. The guy's like, I like it. I'm like, all right, cool. We can set something up. The guy's like, I like it right now. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, I want to buy it right now. I said, you got cash? He said, I got cash. And I think I had the bike posted for like $4,200 or something. The guy's like, I'll give you $4,300 if you give it to me right now. Sold. I got him the bike. I helped him load the bike into his truck. He had a pickup truck. I called a ride. I rode the bike to the gas station. I had to call a ride to get me back home. That same day, I met up with a club member of mine, and I bought a 2002 Suzuki Hayabusa 1300, which is the biggest sport touring bike that Suzuki makes. And it's the second biggest sports touring bike that's made. Kawasaki makes a ZX 1400. But it's the biggest Suzuki bike. And I went and bought that, and that was my bike. That was my baby. So I joined my first club. Me, the guy Primo I told you about, the guy Superman, we all joined the club at the same time, along with a couple other guys that I've remained cool with this whole time. And that's how I got my introduction into the set life. I had the prospect, which everyone should have the prospect, which means it's a time period before you are a member that you must be around the club, show your worth, be willing to work, listen twice as much as you talk. You're not a full member, so you do not get a vote in the processes. You're really there just to be legs and hands and feet. You're there to earn your keep, to earn the people's trust around you, your other club members. And me and the other guys did that. I didn't get any special treatment. I prospected like everyone else. And after my time was up, they voted me in along with the other guys. And it was 7 of us. And we became full patch members of this club. I won't mention this club because I don't have their permission, which I probably don't need it. I really don't care. But out of respect for the president of the club and the people who I know are in the club still to this day, then I just won't say the name of the club. I did leave the club because I had a bad experience with the club. And I'll tell you guys because then that's why I won't mention the name, because I'm going to mention something negative. But the reason why I left the club is in 2012, I had shut down my security business and I became a deputy sheriff. In the process of me being a deputy sheriff, I hurt my back and I'm having spinal shiftage in my back. And a part of that process, man, I was down for a while. I had periods of time where I couldn't walk, couldn't get out of the bed. And so it took me a while. I was out of work for over 6 months. So that's how serious this was. I was out of work for over 6 months. And once I got myself back together, maybe 3 or 4 months in, I started, getting back into moving and trying to do some things I enjoyed. I was still in a little bit of pain, but I was healing. So for me, I'm a busybody. So sitting still is like the worst thing in the world to me. So for me having to not be able to do anything for months and months and months, if I felt a little bit good, I wanted to do everything. So I started coming back with my club and hanging around the set. But during that time, I hadn't worked. I hadn't worked for 6 months, 7 months, and I wasn't on any type of assistance. I did not have workers' comp. I didn't have none of that. So I had no income, well, very little income. And during that time, I could not afford to pay my dues because I didn't have income. So because I couldn't afford my dues, during that time I was down. They voted in a new president, and the president hassled me about dues instead of ensuring that a person who was a club member and supposed to be a brother, instead of making sure I was okay, they hounded me about dues. And for that reason, it wasn't about the money. To me, it was more the principle of, you haven't even called to check on me in 6 months, but you can call to tell me about you needing this money. And to me, that rubbed me the wrong way. I don't feel like that is the purpose of a motorcycle club. I feel like a motorcycle club should be a second family. For some, it's going to be a first family. It's supposed to be representative of people being able to, adults being able to come together and stop being so individualistic for the common goal of us. And you can't be us if one person is left out. And that's my philosophy. That's the attitude I went into the club with. And that's the attitude I had while I was in the club. While I was in the club, I sent people's children to college. Kids, were short, money so they can go to college. I remember writing $1,000 and $2,000 checks to make sure people were okay, paying people's bills that had, personal issues going on. Stuff that never got talked about because it wasn't about me needing recognition. But I just found it really messed up when I got hounded. And it wasn't because those people that I did help didn't step up for me, because that wasn't about that, because I don't think it was a community decision. It was just about the person who they had elected president at that time. So I didn't feel slighted by anyone. I just did not like the way he handled it. And for that reason, I turned my colors in. And to this day, I've never been a part of a motorcycle club since. Doesn't mean I don't plan on doing something in the future. It's just at the time period I have not rejoined. Not too long after that, I sold my motorcycle, and I kind of left the scene. Had a family, start growing up, so I couldn't run the streets the same kind of way. As of August the 10th of last year, 2018, I purchased a new motorcycle. So that's what I have now. And on the next video, we'll talk about my bike. So, as always, man, I appreciate y'all for watching. God bless y'all. Y'all be easy. Peace.